Hi, my name is Eli Kranzberg. In this series of videos, we'll be looking at everything you need to know in order to get you up and running, creating, editing, and mixing music in Logic Pro or Logic Express version 9 as quickly and efficiently as possible. You begin working in Logic by creating a new project or opening an existing one. All work and related files are contained within a project folder, and that's automatically created when you start a new project. Contained within this project folder is the project file, and that's the document that you do all of your work in. This project file contains MIDI data and events, and it also contains information and edits and pointers to all of the audio files and other media files that you might be using within the project, like video or loops or whatever. Appropriate subfolders are created as needed within this project folder to contain these additional media files, and they're called assets. And these are created depending on which assets you've specifically chosen to include or exclude. So let's look at the process of creating a project. I have Logic launched, and under File, I'm going to go to New, and it calls up a dialog box which has a bunch of preset templates to choose from. Logic Pro 9 ships with a bunch of templates under Explore, Compose, and Produce, and I suggest clicking on them, opening them up, spending some time looking around and playing with them. And then you can have your own customized templates, which I have in here. But for now, I'm going to go to one of these and I'm going to choose Empty Project. And this is going to create a blank project. And the first dialog box I'm presented with here is asking me to create at least one type of track to exist within this brand new project. So let's look at this for a moment. There are three types of tracks that you'll be working with mainly in Logic. Audio tracks are used to play back and record audio and to do some basic editing on. Software instrument tracks are used to record, edit, and play back MIDI data that's going to trigger software instruments. An external MIDI is a type of track that's used to record, play back, and edit MIDI data that's going to trigger an external sound module. Let's start by creating an audio track. And here you can select the number, how many tracks we want to create. I'm going to leave it at 1 for now. And I'll create a stereo track. You have a format choice of mono, stereo, or surround. And the input and output choices will be dependent on your audio hardware. We'll look at setting that up briefly in the next video, but for now I'm going to leave it set to input 1, 2 and output 1, 2. And I'm going to leave these checkboxes disabled for now and the open library checkbox disabled. We'll look at all those more in due time. So I'm going to go create, and we now have a blank project that's created with one audio track on it. Now, it's called Untitled because I haven't saved it yet, so let's save this. I'm going to go File, Save, and the key command is Command-S, standard Mac operating system command. And I'm going to save it to my audio drive in Logic 9 Explained folder, and I'm going to call this L9E for Logic 9 Explained. Now, in this dialog box here, we have this choice of what assets we want to include or exclude. You'll recall I said at the beginning of this video that a project folder is created and will contain subfolders for the types of assets that are included. So let's look briefly at these. You can choose to exclude any assets by checking that off, and in that case, only a project file will be created without a project folder. I wouldn't suggest you do this because using project folders with assets is a great way of keeping your projects organized and keeping all the data together. So you can include specific assets. Now the default here is to copy external audio files to project folder, and that's great. That means if you import or bring in any audio files from somewhere else, it'll make a copy of it in your project folder so that it's all self-contained. You can optionally choose to include EXS instruments that you're using in your project folder, and again, optionally the samples related to those instruments. We're going to look at all these in detail throughout the videos. You can optionally choose to include Ultrabeat samples, and Ultrabeat is a software instrument drum machine contained within Logic. You can also include Space Designer impulse responses, which refers to the convolution reverb plugin and the wave files that are associated with that. And you can have it copy movie files to your project folder, and if that's off, it'll just reference the files where they are elsewhere on your drive. And optionally, you can have it hide the extension .logic that's going to be added to the end of the project file. But I'm going to leave that on for now. And I'm going to go save. So now we'll see the name of the project here in the title bar, L9E. And what I want to do now is close this and look in the Finder and show you what's been created. So I saved this to the audio drive into Logic 9 Explained folder, and here's the project folder that's created, L9E. So when I open it up, we'll see that we have the project file, L9E, and this is where you do all your work, and it contains all the data, all the edits and pointers and MIDI data. And here's, by default, the first assets folder that's created, and that's an audio files folder to contain the audio that's going to be recorded or imported into the session. And right now, it'll be empty. Let me step back, and there's our project file. So that's it for this video. Just to summarize what we've done, we've created a new blank project. We created one empty audio track in it. We saved it with assets, and we set the defaults to just include the audio files and none of the additional assets that are optionally available. So stay tuned. That's it for now. See you for more in the next video.